we'll move to the, okay, welcome everyone to the 123rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop at the Keshe Foundation. Let me do that again. I didn't have my live stream audio on. Welcome everyone to the 123rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop. It's Tuesday, July 26, 2016, and we'll begin the workshop with a video from our friends in Ghana. Let's get that going. I have to reshare that to make the video work, or the the audio work.
Keshe Foundation Ghana, in association with Ghana Atomic Commission and Ghana Spaceship Institute, would like to invite you to attend the New Dawn, Africa's Meteoric Rise in Spaceship Technology Conference, October 17th through 19th, 2016, in Ghana. Keshe Foundation Ghana's mandate is to build awareness and promote research into plasma technology. The foundation is presently working with governmental institutions and other interest groups in Ghana to fulfill this goal. At the conference, you will be afforded the opportunity to learn about and experience plasma technology firsthand. The cost of admission to the conference includes 3-night stay in one of Ghana's prestigious hotels. Hotel packages include a single, double, or twin room option, and an option for an apartment or suite. Breakfast, tea, and coffee breaks. Keshe Foundation Ghana is focused on utilizing plasma technology to solve numerous problems facing the African nation. Come to the New Dawn, Africa's Meteoric Rise in Spaceship Technology Conference in Ghana. Learn about plasma technology and learn how you can participate in spreading the word about it. Together, we can bring freedom to Africa and humanity, and we hope to see you there.
Okay, welcome everyone to the 123rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute. It's Tuesday, July 26, 2016, for this special workshop that's earlier than usual, and I'm sure Mr. Keshe has some good reasons for that. So let's check in with him and see what's going on. Hello, Mr. Keshe.
Yes, good morning, good evening, good day to you as usual, wherever and whenever you listen to these workshops. If you remember last week and the week before, when we started the true teaching in the space technology, I explained that this is going to be very interactive from now on, that the minute we see a breakthrough by anyone in the work of the spaceship program, which we see is significant to the teaching and development of the technology by all of you, we will organize and we call in for these kind of workshops. These workshops are very short, maybe an hour, half an hour, an hour and a half, but we can repeat this even on daily basis. As you develop, we see the need for it to be shared. We'll come on and share it. There are two major developments today which needs to be shared, and then you understand where the change has come. Most of these goes back to the teaching in the past couple of weeks, where some people have started trying and testing. If you remember last week or the week before, we made some teaching. I go back over the teaching, and then we connected to the what we call the work of the spaceship technology. Before we go there, there's a major what you call disclosure we have to do, and that is to do with the maglev generators. As you're aware, we have opened the development of the maglev generators, and we have started putting it in the market that it can be developed. For the first time today, we show the work of a maglev unit in its raw state. What this means is that you can see power is produced. We are doing this in 4 different locations in different parts of the world that no government can block. This is the way we chose, and we chose today especially to show this, that there is no misunderstanding. You can see the working system. It's from the benchmark, test bench, and you can see how it can use up to 3. You can go up to some units 5. We estimate we can go up to 20, 30 kilowatt use. So we initially, last year, this time in July, we released the maglev units as a power reduction. Some of you use it, and some of you could not see some huge differences. The development now is that there is no two-way about it. You disconnect your supply from the grid. You literally take your fuse box out, you disconnect the earth and the light from your connection to the government or to the grid, and what you do, you plug your system into the main of the house, or it becomes your supply. You don't need to feed it, you don't need to add any energy to it, and you can literally use the rest of the house as domestic use as you do. These units are fixed, so we fix it to about 3-4 kilowatt. And in that process, these will be supplied, as we said, within August, September, we start producing it and we're releasing it. The way it's going to work is very simple. And that is, if you remember, you bought or you made a maglev unit. If you, thousands of you who bought the maglev unit, this is what you received. And you plugged it in and gave you the reduction. The new system has a second maglev unit which gets added to it, and it's become the supplier together, triggering each other off. And all you need to do, if this is your first unit, you plug your, what you call the power, into the entry of your maglev, and the one with the 2 cables you plug into the wall of the house, or you connect to your main supply switch fuse box. So what you're going to have is literally a system which is add together the 2 of them, and this becomes the new generator. As you remember at the beginning, we said we'll add units to it, that it becomes gradually to what it's supposed to be. This is the first 2 units. And this system now is getting commercialized. Those of you who built your maglev units at home yourself, which we encourage you to do, you can buy the additional unit to become a generator. In a coming time, we will release the blueprint of the generator section 2. There is a development process going on because we are in the process of, in a way, maximizing the power and minimizing all the possible matter use of materials in any of the 2 sections. So in next 2 months, as we have to deliver the first orders, you receive 2 units. If you bought the maglev unit, you can buy the second unit, facilities made on the website. If you are manufacturers and you are waiting for whatever reason for maglev units to be tested or whatever, now it's a straightforward. You're shorter. Okay. Better now? You can hear better now? Yes? Sounds much better. So what you have now is that the manufacturing teams who are waiting, or other companies who are waiting for production of the material, or maglev units, now you don't have this dilemma anymore. Okay? They're checking my sound just for a minute. Yeah? Okay? That's okay. So you go directly into production systems which you literally deliver at a power supply. 3 to 5 kilowatt systems, or plus we will add the price for it to just for what it needs to be done internally, but we can push the supply to 5 kilowatt, 10 kilowatt. There are about 25 people, mainly from Belgium, who ordered the original generators 4 or 5 years ago. They never claimed their deposit, and they paid a 500 euro deposit for the 5,000 units, 5,000 euro units, where a generator to supply at 5,000 euro. You get the same power supply at 1,800. We did not refund those who didn't want because of the legal problem in Belgium, where if you receive money from Cash Foundation, you're becoming receipt from a terrorist organization, the way it's set up by Red Circle. Their organization set it up that way. Now we deposit your unit with a notary in a third country, which means those 25 people can go order their units from that lawyer, that notary, and we have completed our contract with you. We thank you for being patient, and your power generators are patient. It's about 5 or 6 of them. They already arrived. I spoke with them this morning. And if you want to go directly to become manufacturer of the generators, you can still apply. If you applied before, you got no response. Now the new management will take over and sort everything out very rapidly. If you are developing the units, or for the teaching units, maglev units, start teaching your students or your people who come as knowledge seekers that the maglev units in the coming weeks become generators. We release the blueprint of the generator to the factories first, and then we release it to public. At the same time, we're releasing the whole technology. Pardon? There is a feedback. So in this process, now we have become and have made humanity independent of energy resources like oil, like gas, nuclear, and the rest. Because you can produce these, as you've done with maglev systems, yourselves in your country. And one of our priority with the energy units is Ghana. We're sending very rapidly for development of the manufacturing of this unit, because energy is crisis in that country, and the Cash Foundation Atomic Center will allow us to develop very rapid development. What I want you to see, we have a video that you can see the maglev generator in operation, and this has been going on, starting with a very small load, the same as what we did with you. We started with a high load and we phased in. Now the system is around about 2.5, 3 kilowatt. Rick, do you have the video that we can see, please?
Yes, yes, Mr. Kesh, I just got that ready at this moment. Let me get it set up here.
This is the first time we show, this was taken a few hours ago deliberately for this presentation. And we will show the blue version of it in a matter of a couple of weeks that you can see. We need to add a production facility to see this. Okay. Are you ready to go?
Can you see it there on your screen?
Yes, you're sharing the screen. Yes, go ahead.
Okay, let me play it. Hopefully the sound will come through.
Through this, I'm sorry for putting this out so fast. I accidentally tore something up and had to rebuild it. But anyway, this is a later topic. I want to go through what's connected right now to the load. As you can see, this is some of you call it a panini. I call it a grilled cheese toaster. And the light's on. It's 800 watts. I got a 1500 watt fan forced heater here. We're fixing to crank it up. As you can see, the light's on. Heat's coming out nice and hot. I got a dorm refrigerator right here. Right there, you can see it's coming in. Plugging into the same strips, battery power, mag grab capacitors, another refrigerator, a standard fridge that we're fixing to, there we go, and just so you can hear, it's working. Really, I use it for a vacuum to vacuum out refrigerant out of automobiles. I made that myself. So anyway, my little off-grid system here that runs off 12 or 6 volt or 12 volt system. In this particular case, I've got a 6 volt system running up to it. You can see the fluorescence come on. We're at 103.67 fluctuating. You can see the strip here. Sorry, this is really fast. This is basically what we've got up here on the board. Heater with the fan at 1500 watts. Grilled cheese toaster 800 watts. 318 watt CFL spiral bulbs, 54 watts, dorm refrigerator, 500 watts on the start, 70 watts on the run cycle, a standard refrigerator compressor, 700 watts on the start, 85 watts on the run cycle. Total wattage consumption on the start, 3554 on wattage. On the run cycle will be 2509. Now I just added a 30 watt glue gun on here too because I had something that needed to be secured down there. It's moving around on me. So anyway, that increased that up to 3539 or 2539 and 3584 on the start. On the run, we're running right now at 2509. We got 104.3 volts shooting out. We'll get the thermal indicator here. Bear with me just a second. We'll take some temperature readings. We are in Fahrenheit range. It is hot in here because I have the heater going, and we can see the capacitors are reading about 89 to 91 degrees. The mag grab center coil is 91 degrees. Top coil 110, 111, 108. So let's say 110. Bottom coil, nice, 90, 89. And the wires coming off here, alligator clips, 82 degrees. This being the main load wire here, going back out, only 91, 92 degrees. And just so y'all know that the toaster's working. Yeah, quite warm there it is, 300, and so the heater's working too. Let me get that off of, is it on hold? Okay, here we go, scan, let's scan the elements there, and as you can, well, let me get on them, it's kind of hard for me to move around. Me moving around, it's kind of hard to get on those coils like that. But you can see there's 250 degrees coming out of the coils there. Nothing's heating up. No, as you can see, no wires melting, and everything is normal. We got a voltage right here at the base of the CFL at 89, 87 degrees. You can hear my little motor chumming in the background there. And voltage consumption is down to 97, 98 volts is what it's actually pushing out right now with this particular load on it. I do have quite the load on this little bitty system, but I wanted to show you there's no hidden wires. There's my outlet right there. There's nothing plugged into it. This is self-sufficient, and I'm so sorry for the short video. I'll try to do a little bit better job and get more information out to you as soon as possible. Peace and God bless to each and every one of you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Now you've seen the first. This is how it will look if you build one at home. This is the generator. So you've seen it. This is the material from the development lab in the United States. And now you can see we have achieved a point of total energy supply indefinite, as long as you like, 3.5 kilowatts. So this completes the work of the Cash Foundation to deliver the generator. And you have, you can purchase one, you can develop it yourself, the manufacturing team. There is no ifs and buts, there is no crookedness, all the accusation which was targeted at Maghreb by those who were paid to do. Now you buy a unit, you plug it at home, and your electricity is supplied. The only thing, as we say, those who tried to what we call destroy the work of the foundation, now their hand is open. We promised we'll do, and we have achieved it. We're delivering it, and we have a problem now to meet the demand for such a generator worldwide. This morning, I received a confirmation from one of the major corporations in the world for 1 million pieces a month. That is $2 billion or 2 billion order per month, which will be spread across the Cash Foundation manufacturing throughout the world, because we cannot meet it as a multi-store retail group. They have branches in different parts of the world. So if you have applied to become the manufacturer, we pass the order to you. So you immediately have a solid base order to start manufacturing. This is from one of the major corporations. We've been negotiating with them some time. They said to us, when the generator is ready, we are prepared to come in. We have another order for 1 million, which is pending to be confirmed, again from the major corporation, worldwide recognized. So on receiving these from the headquarters, we spread it to you who applied to become manufacturers. If you want to be the manufacturers, we share these kind of orders across the planet, because one factory in Italy cannot meet these kind of orders. Arizona now is going into the same process, and the others who are set up by the Cash Foundation, which we have control over, we receive these kind of orders immediately. This completes our work as a generator. So in a way, we have finished with what we came here as part of the power production to do. We have delivered, and for us, power generation is complete, and the world of energy, the world of demand and supply of fuel as of today is finished. We can release the blueprint immediately, but as I said, we just come across refining a few points that it makes the system more efficient to produce in a less usage of material, but in a much easier way. In the background to the same process, we are looking, the next job will be to create what we are working on the wireless generators, which means your 2 units do not need to be plugged anywhere. You can literally put it in the house and use anything you like in the house. This is the next target for the development and innovation. They are partially there. We understand most of the process. I'll guide the technologists to achieve that. We see it, we can control it, and the next step comes. This brings us to the structure of the working of the spaceship. Because now that we have developed this independent power supply, we can play the space program very rapidly. What it means, we produce plasmatic condition, plasmatic energy, and in that process, we can use it for the space lift and motion. You should have realized something very interesting on this demonstration. With these Maghreb units, all the 120, 110, 220, 240 is out of the window. Because you produce the same structure in United States, we produce the same, copy the same thing in Europe. You can take, we build the unit in Europe, when we send it to United States, they all work. AC, DC, 110, 220, This shows it's a plasmatic condition. You don't need transformers. You don't need to change. And this process is very important when we go into the spaceship development. The reason we call this a special meeting, the power generator was a bonus. The reality is, if you go back to my teaching, couple of weeks teaching ago, I brought on the table this container, and I tried to explain how you can process in a way the start of testing MAGRAF systems for a spaceship, for lift and motion, and the way we worked with like the pens, and we showed the pens, and then you tested it, you built it, and you saw the energies of it, the fields of it. Now we teach you how to start building your own spaceship. As I said a couple of weeks ago, when we said we will start the true space technology, we started teaching everything. That you start understanding, you start developing technologies, you see the fields exist. You don't need vacuum machine, you don't need any complicated system. Now that you have the MAGRAF generators which power plasmatic MAGRAF system, magnetic field, gravitational field energy, you can go in the process of a spaceship program. If you remember, can I reduce this one? If you remember in the teaching of a couple of weeks ago, I explained how to make an arch. You made a scaffolding and you build the arch, and then you reduce the arch, you took a scaffolding away, and then you had the structure. If you remember, I explained to you about the bucket and how you create a magnetic field balls like a star formation, and then you put the liquid gas in, you let your system run, and then you empty the container, you have your star formation without any system. If you remember, I brought this bucket out and I showed you how you can put your system in, fill it up with the gas material, put a ball inside. Where is my gas material? These are the ganses we have here from Dr. Klaus. So you put your system in, you put your MAGRAF system in, like the balls, and then you achieve your flight system. I explained to you, if you remember, if you can use, if you go further, by putting a MAGRAF system inside, if you can control and replace the center with one of these dynamic cores, you can achieve the same condition. The process started, and those of people who listened to the teaching and understood start testing to show that actually if you put some gas materials without doing anything and putting some gas material, as we said, at the bottom of the bucket, you can create the flow of the field. It was important to show, because if you understood this, now you can create dynamism, motion, without actually any motors or any batteries. I was teaching this over the weekend to the Innovation Center, and we said we started on Saturday morning or whatever, and just a few hours before we start having the meeting, Dr. Gota from Kenya sent me a message. I want to send you an interesting video. And this video, to you, if you understand it, is literally the first step into the spaceship program, creation of motion without any motors, creation of motion using plasmatic gas materials without doing anything. And this is, as I said, Africa will shine in the spaceship technology. And now we see another African nation, Kenya, shining. This is historical video, if you understand it, because this will change everything that the man has ever worked in past thousands of years to achieve. I explained in a teaching, and within 2 weeks, less than a week, Dr. Gota, understanding it, he said, I repeated what you said, and now we see his video. This is one of the most important videos, if you are a man of science, we ever show. There are 2 videos. Have a look. Creator of motion without any material. On the top is a ball with gas. The string you see is just to hold the ball on top of the container. You will see that the liquid at the bottom of the picture in the container without anything. The minute you introduce the ball of gas on the top, it starts dynamic rotation. This is how a space motion is created. At the moment, to create motion, we drive pumps, we drive generators, we drive all sorts of things. Now, for the first time, we see this. Can you start it from the beginning, please? You see, yes, please, start the video. You see the liquid is on a full motion. And you can control the speed of motion. That's the hand of Dr. Gota from Kenya. It's just a double core. The minute it's introduced, the rotation of the liquid starts. This liquid can go into thousands of RPM. All it is, this is one of the most important piece of videos will ever stay on the archives of Keshe Foundation, because it's the first step in understanding not only that the liquid is moving at the bottom, but all the fields within the bottle. And this is how the universe works. You can create field motion through just by mixture of gases. We explained, Dr. Gota will come on and explain what he's done and how he achieved this. Very simple, at a very few dollars. You see the material moving at the bottom. There is a second video of this. Rick, can we have the second video, which is a longer one, please?
Yes, I'll get that right away here.
And then we asked Dr. Gota to join us and explain how he did it and what it is. You all can test it. You can all do it and then understand now you have with these balls, as I showed you last time with the orange balls, if you fill them the right way, in the right sequence, you can all start building a spaceship reactors without any material, without any motors. If you dictate it, then we teach you the control today, how we are working. The reason for the teaching today is for you to enlighten you that you will start joining us. The humanity has to go to a space, not a few. You see the rotation is at the bottom, very simple on the top of the bottle, and the material starts rotating. In the bottom of this, Dr. Gota will explain to you the mixture of the materials is all the gases which you made up to now. There is no secret. But if you do it properly, you can see how you can use this. If you understand the motion of this, and then, for example, use it in health units, you can target, literally reduce cancer cells within minutes. This is the beauty of this. In time we explain. If you understand this process, you can create balls in the center on the top that you control with mind. I explain this again. We have one of our innovation center guys do testing this, how you control with your emotion and with your thoughts, that there is no need for system control. All these panels you see in aircraft system is through the window. So this is the beauty of it. We have our Chinese colleagues on the background. They said, you can come to China. I said, when I come, I'll come that they never know. I don't need no visa because we're one nation. And when you're one nation, you don't need a visa to go from one place to another. And with this technology, within the next few weeks, you will come to that point. I urge you to start developing if you understand this. and I explain more today how to develop this technology into the spaceship program, into sharing the knowledge. We all achieve the same thing at the same time, that we change the course of humanity. And this video is so important. You've seen by introduction of a small ping pong ball, you have created a mass to move in the air. So what it means, we don't need turbines. What it means, we don't need wheels. What it means, we don't need to burn fuel to create rotation. If you understand and make, for example, this liquid to rotate at 2 different speed layers or 3 layers, you create lift and motion. If you can do the same thing with the balls in a spar formation, you do the same. In fact, this video is one of the most important breakthrough, showing what we thought 3 weeks ago, physically what was explained. In my teachings, those who listen very rapidly will arrive to that point, and we can go to the next step. The whole purpose of teaching today, the whole purpose I called for this presentation will change the course of humanity, is this little ball. You will understand very soon what it means. We add to it this morning and we close the session. If you manage to achieve any further lifting, we see movement of items. You shift and displace liquid, record it, send it to the Keshe Foundation webmaster. We come back on Thursday, we play. If there is any major breakthrough from now on, we come on a daily basis for an hour, 2 hours, that we collectively start moving in one direction, and hopefully within a matter of short time, one of you will break through and create lift with a few dollars. We had to come this long way, but now we are there. We enjoy the beauty of the space technology. You can create the same kind of field in the bottle that it reaches the water to rotate on top of a city, to extract materials on top of a farm, to feed the vegetation what you like. In places of war, a very simple system on the bottom of a balloon would push the soldiers not to remember even why they're carrying guns for. We have changed the history of man. As I said 2 weeks ago, we started the development of spaceship technology, and this is the beginning of it. As I said, the generator has no meaning if you understand. By placing such a ball, and the teachings will teach, you will light, you will turn on, you do whatever you like on the point of wish and demand, and we are entering in the true world of space technology. Is Dr. Agota in the background that he can explain to us what is done?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Good morning, Doctor. Could you please explain to us, if you want, you can go on the camera and explain to us what you've done and how you achieved this, and then we go to the next step, please.
It was very easy. I just followed your teaching 2 weeks ago of how to create motion and then remove the scaffolding. I think it was the 121st Knowledge Seekers Workshop. And then I just tried. I put a ping pong ball inside another ball and put the nano-coated copper for holding, because I expected the motion would be actually in the ping pong ball, and I wanted to see it rotate and at least be able to hold it. So that is the top part of it. The bottom part, I put in a mixture of all my ganses. I actually included the actual guns and a bit of liquid plasma of the ganses. And the moment I put this on top, I felt some movement in my hands because I was holding the bottle. And then I looked at the liquid and it was rotating, and it was doing so very fast. That is simply all what I did.
Thank you very much, Dr. Gota. Could you explain? Sorry about that. Could you explain to us what is your next step now? Because I know you're developing different angles. We're trying to get you to move in a certain direction. If you want to show it to us on the camera.
Okay, yes, I'll show it. This is what I'm developing now.
You need to share your camera. You need to share your camera. You're on your, okay, that's okay. That's perfect.
Okay, inside these are all my ganses, inside this bucket. And then
Yeah.
I have 4 cores, cores within cores. So the ping pong balls, 4 of them inside the bigger ones. And if you look very closely, you can see some movement. I have not achieved the, very high speed, but I'm going to achieve it. It's building up, and I can tell with the fuse.
Okay,
And,
I have a small tip for you.
okay.
If with the way you saw the liquid was rotating and you put a core on the top and it caused the rotation,
Yes, sir.
now increase the liquid at the bottom a little bit, put your cores on the liquid, and keep the ball on the top, the same ball. And in that rotation, the field will start rotating the balls too. And you will start seeing the rotation of the 3 base cores with the top, and they will find in a way that the system will start moving or the water will start moving. Can you tell us what's inside of each of those balls, please? What gases you've used?
I have used liquid
Put the
plasma.
bucket down, please. It's too heavy to handle.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Nice to see your beautiful face.
Thank you.
Very much.
Yeah, what I did is...
you're getting your black hair. Are you still using the CO2?
Yeah, and my hair was entirely white. Now it's black. I'm getting younger. I'm getting younger by the day. So that's amazing. And all I have used is CO2 liquid plasma.
Thank you. Can you explain to us?
Blackening from the top and it's going downwards.
Down. You're becoming younger. I hope the maturity stays.
Oh yeah, I'm getting younger as days progress. So
can you explain to us what you use in this course, please?
Yes, in this course, the inside one, the inner cores, ping pong balls, I fill them with liquid plasma of all my ganses and amino acids. And then I scratch my skin and put it in there because when we start flying, I have to control with my brain. So that is what is inside the inner cores.
Can I interrupt to explain to you? The reason Dr. Water tells you that he scratched his head and put some oil in it, you got to understand, if you run and you start running these kind of systems, you need to be able to control the systems. There are 2 elements in these cores where you produce. In all the cores, because you are of the human race, you have to add the amino acid into it. So in all the cores where you put your liquid plasma, you put in amino acids from the top of your containers, a mixture of amino acids. Then in the center of a core, if you add your own amino acid, which comes from the fat of your skin or from your blood, if you make the GANs of it, then the reactor is controlled by you. You have a connection to the center. You do not put your own amino acid in the outer core because you do most of for a time being, the control in the center. So you dictate the speed of the rotation, you speed the amount of the flow. Then this way, you will understand that you start controlling the distance of the ship, the gap, the gravitation, and everything else. And in the coming hours, I teach you a lot. You will learn a lot from this teaching today. So Dr. Gota, please carry on. And as knowledge is needed, I add to you in the middle. Please, what do you explain?
Thank you, Mr. Kesh. The outer cores, because I have drill balls, I put in CO2 gases in the outer cores, 3 of them. And the last one, the fourth one, I put in CH3 gases. And then the bucket is full of a mixture of all my gases at the bottom, and there are liquid plasmas on top. That is the mixture that you see, the liquid. And that's all I have done. Immediately when I put in the balls, they start arranging themselves in a star formation. And I'm waiting. There is a lot of, sometimes I see the water shaking, the water moving a little bit, and it's building forces now. I'm expecting it to speed up.
Let me add to the knowledge. In this process, when you put the ping pong balls, the set, next to each other, you create, if you remember when we thought with the magnets, when you form ring magnets, they adjust and they fix their position. So we don't expect a motion, but we expect positioning. In this buckets, when you put your cores in the liquid, we don't expect to see rotation. We don't expect to see huge movement because they have positioned themselves, they have locked to themselves, and sometimes when one liquid loses a little bit of its fields to its environment or receives from the other, then it moves slightly. So we don't expect huge movement in these buckets. We just look for a fixed positioning. In the future, the scientists of what we call present chemistry, what we call plasma chemistry or plasma physics, will replicate the condition of neutrons, the condition of different elements like mixing a hydrogen with oxygen, and see it physically in these containers. Because now we can replicate every physical gravitational magnetic field. So we can see exactly, for example, how CO2 acts. How does a copper in a copper oxide with the oxygen will interact? What is the positioning? We take a lot of mystery out of the present physics. This, what Dr. Guata just showed us, is very important because for the first time, we take guesses and assumptions out of the equation. If you, for example, create gravitational magnetic field of one proton, and then you create gravitational magnetic field of one electron in another one, you see how electron positions itself, how it comes to be if you add 2 protons and 2 electrons, and then this literally throws the whole present world of physics and chemistry into the wall. Because everything at the moment in the present physics is considered as dots, that where, as we see with what Dr. Guata just showed us, it has a position. Then even when we go into the medical section, when we say we absorb only we absorb oxygen in our lungs, you see, when you put something like 8 neutrons and 8 protons and the electrons, you have a volume like this, where you will have hydrogen about this size. And then, as I was explaining to some doctors, how do you tell me such a huge mass size goes through the lung, but the little ones and the smaller ones like nitrogen and carbon don't go through? And now this throws all the assumptions we made in the world of medicine into literally starting from the scratch, but at least knowing there is a ground for the PAC technology to build on. This picture, which Dr. Guata just showed us, is hugely, hugely important. Even the bucket. The simplicity of this technology is you see it, you understand it. This is very much, if you look at it, is like 4 elements of the amino acid. You got 4 balls. One carries CH3 and the others are CO2, near enough, carbon, oxygen, and the others. And in a few minutes, we show you another combination of this structure in a different way from Philippine Innovation Center. Is there anything else you'd like to add, Dr. Guata?
I would only like to thank you very much for sharing the knowledge globally. It is very important, and it's the very first time I have seen genuine giving. Thank you very much. for all you are teaching.
Thank you very much indeed. Thanks for your knowledge and the beauty of sharing it so freely like the rest of us.
You're welcome.
Thank you very much indeed, Dr. Gwat.
Thank
Now you understand. Thank you very much for your time. I wait to see what more you develop. Now, as I said, if you create a very small amount of water, as Dr. Gwata has done, repeat the same thing. To get confidence, just drop empty balls, ping pong balls on the water. See it rotating. It gives you understand how the balls will be positioning. Add a little bit of ganses slowly to each ball, and then you see the interaction. What actually happens while you have a rotation is very simple. Always said, understand what is going on. In this bottle, you have mixture of gases in the ball in the center. If we take the, where do I get my rubbers from? I need to rub off, and it doesn't allow me. I need to take these off, it doesn't allow. We go there. No? No, I want to the rubber. Is that the rubber? Okay, thank you very much. Stanley has come to be helped to us in a present time where we need to have things done. So you have the ball with the gas inside it. You have created another ball with another gas, you don't like. We go to blue. You have another gas ball here, which is filled up with different gas. Here at the bottom, you have a mixture of gases which are sitting in the ball. But don't forget, you have a barrier separation, adding and subtracting from what's inside and what is in here. So the gas of, for example, hydrogen here is trying to interact with the gas of hydrogen here. So in doing so, but in being in the presence of, let's say, the gas of CO2 here, and there's a gas of CO2 here, in dynamism, in trying to control, they create a rotation in the water. This is what is just now, in this region here, what you have is a field of plasmas trying to catch up. Look, for example, in the medical systems. Now you have a dynamic system. Here you put the patient, you have the system, you have dynamic gas, bubbles, balls, and then you have a standard fix what it should be. In transformation of an energy one to another, they take the energy of a cancer cell with them, and then you find out there is no cancer. In this system, you replace the coils which you made with bubbles, fixed, filled with gas material. Very dynamic. You have a lung cancer, you change the balls to the tissue of the lung strength. You have a liver cancer, you change it. We've seen the doctors doing this. We've seen how doctors in South America and people in South Africa, they use different vegetations with different gases, and they create this, and they see the results. Now, instead of having coils, which is fixed, now change the coils with ping pong balls too, and the fitting to match all with the amino acid, your patient, and then a weaker transfer of energy fields from plasma will give you the transfer of the energy from the cancer in minutes. Literally, we are walking into hours, a patient walking with a tumor, walking off without a tumor. This is where it has to, if you understand the basic of this. But further on, you understand that the by putting the ball on the top, and if you can rotate this as the speed you like, you will see mayhem in this water. Is Douglas in the background? Douglas, would you like to explain to us what happened when you tested this yesterday?
Yes, Mr. Kish. I was using the combination.
Can you speak a bit louder, please?
Yes, Mr. Kish. And my mic uncovered. There we go. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I was using a combination similar to what the doctor had just described, and I was using a Dremel tool to speed the inner core. I had it fixed to a nano-coated rod where it would spin inside the outer core with a composite Gantz, and I used basically the same thing, blood instead of skin. In my instance, I pricked my finger, I got my DNA in there. When I got close to the plasma water in the container with the Dremel tool at a lower speed, I noticed the water start to move just a little bit. I didn't think much of it, but when I flipped it up to where it was at full speed, about 15,000 RPM, there was a vortex that created immediately that went straight to the bottom of the container, and in doing so, the 3 balls I had in there kind of slammed against the container, and the plasma liquid kind of exploded out of the container everywhere. The second time I did this, and you would thought I would have learned the first time, I thought that I would have a little more control, so I actually held the outer core with my left hand and had it to where it was fixed above the water about 2 inches instead of in the water this time. And the outer core this time leapt about an inch. I felt it push up out of the water, and as it did, the outer core exploded, and it went everywhere, about 15 feet across the room on 3 different walls. So yes, it's definitely a reaction there with a lot of force and power, lift and pull. If you have them at the right speed and the right position, as Mr. Kish was explaining. I've been playing around with this and moving it at different heights above the water, and I've seen the different reactions a couple of times. Now, I'm actually right now rebuilding my cores as we're speaking.
Would you like to go on camera and show us the one which you managed to float inside the ball? You posted some pictures.
Yes, Mr. Kish, I'd be more than glad to.
Would you like to show us the ball? Would you like to share your camera, please? Yes. Can you explain to us what happened there, please?
What had happened was I have this little core here. It's I've been playing. Some of the people have seen this before. It's a composite Gantz. It's a little motor here that runs off of a 3-volt rechargeable battery, and it can get some really high RPMs when it's charged, about 10,000 RPMs. And I had realized that the balls didn't float; that they went to the bottom, and I thought that was pretty strange. I thought that they should float. Maybe they were too heavy. So I was just playing around with this, and with it on the high level. This has 2 settings, and the second setting gets up close to 10,000 RPM in this particular composite here. And I was getting it near the ball, and I felt for the first time, I've heard many talk about being able to feel the fields. I sense the fields, but I haven't actually felt a field like a magnetic repulsion or an attraction, something that was a significant draw. This was the first time I felt something, and I thought, wow, it's kind of repelling. There's a reaction going on here. A few seconds later, the inner core here built up all kinds of bubbles around it. The inner core you can see right now is just solid. It's clear because it's been settled for a long time. The mixture in the inner core started to mix. When it did, the ball floated immediately to the top, and I thought, well, what in the heck is going on? So I raised this above this, and when I did, the inner ball started spinning. I got excited. I called my wife in here to see it, and I'm trying to hold it, and I dropped it, and I busted it. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I'd love to be able to show you. I do have a video of 3 balls that are of different ganses that are in the plasma water, where I hold this above the container and at a certain degree, and you can see where the water starts to rotate, and the balls will rotate, and they'll actually get an alignment. They'll form a star out of their own doings. There's a short.
Have you got a video of this that we can see?
Yes, I told Rick earlier and Renan both. It's on the cloud, and I can pull it up if they if they don't have access to it real fast.
Rick, can you access this video to the foundation
Okay,
cloud?
I'll try to find that. Yep.
Okay. I got to explain that Douglas is doing a lot of testing in the background, and what I do, I try to enlighten, and then they just do the development in different ways. And it's fantastic to see how different people around the foundation are working to get this lift and the conformation of the flow of the field. These small explanations and understanding shows how plasma in a transition state from the source, which is in the ball, has such a power to move matter state like liquids. Then you understand the game of the energy, and everything else we worked or we assumed has changed. This is how stars are created in the universe. Douglas just explained about the bubbles. When you fill up your bottles, when you fill up these bowls, you see bubbles getting created, and then you think, I have to fill it up. These bubbles are plasmatic bubbles, and because of you don't see the motion of the gases in the balls, they are always in motion, and they create their own vortex, they create their own field zones, which is empty. It's like actually when you rotate the plasma at the highest speed you've seen in the balls, you get a cavity in the middle. These are created, but they're created in a gas level, not in a physical dimension that you force them to be created, as we've seen before. So if when you're working and you see these bubbles, understand these bubbles are literally free magnetic gravitational fields and are plasmatic. If you can gather them together by high-speed rotation, then the system changes. Let me explain what you are looking for. I'll go on the screen that we add to the knowledge. What the target is that when you created the rotation in this material, in fact, because you have 2 central balls here, and they create their own empty space field plasmas, somewhere here in the water, you should start seeing bubbles coming together, maybe even invisible, and then you see a hollow point. It was the same as you had in the balls when you created the rotation of the balls. This hollow ball now locks all the 4 reactors together, and you start beginning the formation. At this point, you drain the water, and you have your star formation. They're locked. You can't do anything with it. It's just a matter of moving this system up and down, slide it to each direction till you see this vortex in the middle, and then your system is created. Your lock is a 3-star formation controlled by the field plasma. Then is this field plasma, which will interact with the gravitational field of the Earth and creates lift and motion. In this process, there is a slight problem, or it's not a problem. There is a slight note you have to take. The note you got to take is very, very important. You heard Douglas, you heard Dr. Potter, you hear from other Cash Foundation Innovation Group, a very, very simple thing. They keep on explaining to you. I put a drop of my blood. I put my own amino acid in the center of each one. If you remember in the teaching of the position of the soul of the man, which has no dimension, which is in the center of the core of the brain of the man, we told last week and in past few weeks, when you achieve this point, because this field is dictated by you, because your amino acid had a say in its creation, then in fact what you have full control through your emotion. No need for system control. You think, you position yourself. You think, you lift, you will achieve lift. The Innovation Center in Philippines, they are testing system control through emotion and the soul. Vernie, are you there? You could join us, please. Is Vernie online? You see him? He was with us a couple of hours ago when we spoke with him. Is Renan on the list? Renan, are you in the background?
Yes, Mr. Kesh. I'll try to call Bernie. Maybe he just left out the room for a while.
Yes. Could you explain to us what you are doing in Philippines in respect to this, your development at this moment?
Yes, as it was last time, we're discussing about this with the team. Bernie has tested the system that is building right now with two a magnetical and a gravitational system. So he's putting them in a certain position to affect the combustion engine. So he has discovered the certain position, the two systems, which is a greater magnetical and a greater gravitational. When they position it to a certain distance around that combustion engine, it reacts to the enhancement of the engine. But in other location, it does not react to the engine. So it has a certain position when combining two types of reactor. A reactor 1 is a highly gravitational reactor. Reactor 2 is a highly magnetical reactor. So putting them in a certain distance, a certain position away from the vehicle gives a certain effect to the combustion engine. So Bernie and also Clint has tested them in a way that you can dictate to make the fields go nearer or further away. So the testing is when you can influence the field to, instead of having a 13.6 meter impact, you can go nearer and still have that impact. So it's the way of
sorry, Renan. Bernie has joined us because he's felt the field. Shall we let him explain it easier?
Yes, please, Bernie.
Bernie, you're there? Hi,
Yes,
Bernie.
I'm here, just like in.
Would you like to explain to us how using the plasma liquid like these bottles in a different way? Because let me explain to you what is happening. I work with Bernie to develop the system control through emotion and the soul, because Bernie has this capability to interact and is in that strength that with Vernie, we are trying to develop the system control through emotion and the GANs. And he'll explain to you that, and you understand the purpose. Renan and Douglas are working on the structure. We hear from Armin in a few minutes. We are working on the aspects of the control in a way of the totality of the structure in the space, not in the system. Then in the coming weeks, we bring the three together, and then we'll see how the development grows and how collectively all of us learn to become a man of a space. So when he speaks, is from the system control point of view through emotion and liquid plasma. Okay, Vernie, could you please explain to us, please?
Okay. The configuration we made is we put this middle bottle with in the middle with heavier GANs like lead GANs. The surrounding is bottles. The three bottles are CH3, copper oxide, and CO2. Now there is
Let me. Would you like to draw on, or do you want me to draw for you on the board, because people cannot imagine? Let me draw it, and then you can explain it.
Okay. Thank you.
What he has a center bottle. He has three other bottles. You understand these are not a spherical core. These are bottles. So we have taken rotation out of equation. This is simply control. The way Vernie is working is nothing to do with motion. With the others, we use a sphere, then we create positioning. With Vernie's situation, there are literally round bottles, very much like this he's using, and this is what we are doing. By choosing the spherical, the cylindrical bottles, we don't allow any rotation. We handle only fields and control of the fields, which is very important. When you train different part of the technology, it has to be according to what it is. So when he explains to you in the field control, we're not talking about the motion of the plasma at all. So he has, in this core, he has a heavy GANs, which is the lead GANs, correct?
Yes, Mr. Kes, correct.
You have a CO2 in one,
H3,
CuO2.
yes, that's CH3 on that part.
Yes?
Okay. The place instead of copper oxide on that side, that's CH3.
This side here, you have
yes, that's CH3.
Okay. Carry on.
And on top is copper oxide on top, the one on top.
The copper oxide is on top.
Oh, instead of CH3.
Okay.
Okay.
No problem. You have copper oxide.
Okay. And we have coils. We have double coils around the lead GANs.
Yes, but just explain.
Okay. Just the flow of this
configuration.
Yes, yes. In this configuration, we have our understanding is the interaction between this CO2, CH3, and copper oxide, or we have there the CH4 on the copper oxide, is the flow goes from there is a flow between them in a manner that they go from one to the next and then to the next and back. So
which one? So we go this way, anti-clockwise.
Yes, that way. There is no physical motion that can be seen by our eyes, but because of their formation, we managed to control the flow by the placement of this, and the center one serves as our gravitational, while the other three, yes,
Or
that's the,
magnetical.
yeah, all the three are serves as our magnetical. So we have a mag-grav configuration in this way. Uh, we did not spin anything. We don't have any motion in terms of the physical motion, but we are visualizing the flow of the fields this way. And and because of this, we have a mag-grav that is, once they are in place, they are, we can consider it is already alive, and motion is there already. When you have this, uh, one way to make the flow also is to connect a coil, or to connect a nano-coated copper wire on each bottles, that somehow you enforce the flow from the liquid plasma towards the nano. So we move a
This way. Am I
transition.
correct?
No, the connection should be there. There are wires outside the lead GANs, Mr. Kes. We have three.
Yeah. You have,
Three
that's your
mag-grav.
configuration.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
So they will connect in a way that the flow will remains the same as the relationship between the liquid plasma, CO2, CH3, and so there is uh,
The
what we call,
flow of
the
the
flow is homogeneous in a way.
inside.
Yes.
Let me explain, just add to a piece of
Okay.
information. When you look at this, your three bottles, what I've said to Wernie, if this is your three bottles, which are 1, 2, and 3, your center bottle sits above this. You have to raise it up. Because when you look, this is
Yes.
in the center, and the field flow will enter and add. This is the principle which we work on. So you get more fields. As you get more fields, you add more, it becomes a feedback. It's still a three star formation, but in bottles. And this way, we see the effect of the fields. Now, can you tell us how far do you feel this field force? How far can you feel it and measure it?
For those four bottles in that setup, only the four bottles without any additional bottles, we get 3 meters of field, a radius field.
For 3 meters with 3 bottles.
Yeah, on that configuration alone, you can only get a radius of 3 meters. Consistent.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is gravitational or magnetical?
This is magnetical.
Magnetical.
Yes.
So you have a magnetical field. You made other combinations, and what is the present field you have tested on the radius wise?
It went up to 34 meters.
So you have achieved 34 meters.
Radius.
That's the maximum you could go and feel it.
That's the maximum because we hit the wall. There's a wall in the shop that we cannot go beyond it.
So you could jump over the wall and still feel the fields.
Yeah, I believe we can go further, but there is a wall in the next lap.
Okay. Now you did a test today or yesterday, and you achieved a field of 13 or 14 meters. Can you explain to us how you achieved it?
Yeah. On that one, we reverse the flow. Instead of the magnetical flow, we convey a gravitational flow. This time, the flow is opposite of that, which is clockwise, and the effect is not the magnetical but a gravitational field, and we reach 13.6 meters in radius. 13.6.
6 meters.
Yes, meters.
This
That's
is
correct.
gravitational.
Gravitational.
Okay. Let me explain to you something. Wernie will add to it because it's something we have to know. In this process, you listen to Vernie. He explains about magnetical and gravitational. You have to explain to us how do you measure. How would the people have to understand what is magnetical? How do you consider magnetical? Or how do you consider as gravitational?
Okay.
Because it's got to do with the flow of the fields, but explain to the people why you consider it that way. Because you set it up yourself, you predetermine it, and then you understand what's going on.
Yes. Before this configuration, this 1, 2, and 3 bottles outside and lead guns outside, we've been using already liquid plasma connected on connected on a coil, then connected on the battery, and we noticed the effect in a form of improvement in engine performance when we have that. After that, we try to visualize what if we configure them something like the star formation, that we can build the plasma itself with that formation. So before this setup, we are already aware, we already understood that we can tap the energy from the liquid plasma. Now, because of that effect, we know the engine will respond according to what guns we put. So when we configure it in a way that we increase the number of bottles and tap it again, one moment when we disconnect it and shorted the two connection, instead of tapping it on the battery, we notice a change in engine performance. Then we understood, okay, this will be our wireless setup that we will change in any configuration to check the distance. So from then on, we first follow a magnetical flow, then we measure at what distance the effect will be gone. We know it is magnetical because we know the flow we convey is that of a magnetical flow, which is the counterclockwise flow. So we measure and we get this one, I think it was only 1.5 foot. Then from then we improve with a much better container, we get this 3 meters. So how about reversing the flow? What will happen? The effect is the opposite of improvement in engine performance, because this is gravitational. It will pull down the engine, perform the opposite, that it almost stop running. So the stronger the field, the more problem the engine will run. As of the last testing we have, it has a difficulty in accelerating. In fact, you cannot accelerate the engine anymore because of that. If you do the opposite of the magnetical, which is the gravitational. So we have several modifications, and we measure the radius by moving toward the vehicle and moving away. When the response of the engine stops or changes, that's we mark that point and we measure the distance. If you go closer, let's say you have a magnetical field, when you reach that point that it connects to the engine, the performance went up drastically. If you move out of that distance, it goes back to its original. For the gravitational, when you reach that point that it connects to the engine will back down. It will not perform very well. And when you move away, then it will perform as fine, just like how it is performing, how it was performing before. So this is how we measure it. We move away from the engine and keep on. You have to rev the engine that it will increase its vacuum. Like you do something, the sound should be like this. Hang. One person will do that consistently and will signal you, or you listen to the engine sound. Then you move away. Then when it stop doing the best performance for the magnetical, it will go back to its previous response. Like, for example, you're near the engine, you have this magnetical device. the sound will be and then you went beyond its reach, it will go down so you know there is a huge difference in change, and you mark that distance. That's the reach of that field. That's how we measure it.
Somewhere between the two, you have a feeling of a barrier. We were talking earlier. Can you explain that?
Yes. It's just like you have this on my experience. There is a warm feeling on my hand when I felt between this gravitational and magnetical interaction. It is that feeling on my left hand when I test it. Similar to when I test it the first time I configured this in such a manner. They have these three bottles outside. I put my hand on top. I can, just like the health pen, when you point it on your palm, you can feel this field on it. You will know that this is a very strong device, so we have to test it in a wider space. And you will know it is weaker. You will know it is stronger just by feeling the field. You can really feel it.
Okay, let me add something here. I was explaining this to the innovation team today, that you understand the next step. The next step is when you, as Rennie was telling us, they created magnetical and gravitational. When you measure the magnetical, there is still some gravitational existing. It's not that there's no gravitational. Now comes your biggest problem. Your system creates a magnetical gravitational field that at the point of the balance of the two gravitational magnetic fields of the system, you will feel a field force. This is the physical boundary which you have to strengthen, and you'll find the wall of your spaceship. At the point when the gravitational and magnetical balances with the environment, at this point you have your shielding. It's what we call the atmosphere. The Earth's surface is decided when there is a balance between gravitational and magnetic field of itself, when there is a balance between gravitational and magnetic field of the system in respect to the environment. This gives you the gaseous or the shielding. In the system control, this is important because you decide to shorten the shield and land because you want to walk out. You want to increase the shield that you have protection from cosmic dust. You can go at any speed you like. Now, Wernie, I explained to them this morning in the teaching, he tells you, can you tell us if you have ever felt this barrier when you walk between or towards the system?
The feeling is just like you have this, it's like an invisible, the feeling that I have is there's warm feeling in the hand when
you cross the line.
Yes, it's just like there is. I know there are no change in temperature, but you can feel it in your hand is warming up. Yes.
Now, if you balance all these, for example, to CO2, the same as here and here, then you create a configuration to create the spherical shape which is needed in constructing a physical boundary. You create a surface of the craft. This is the first time we come to it. You can feel it. Now, what you got to do is to move these cores very slightly till you start seeing interaction, tangibility, or interaction light. And then, if you see tangibility, this is the boundary of your craft. If you see light, clear light, this is the atmospheric condition, which is your shielding. We are heading in that target very rapidly in this development. In next few days, weeks, I ask all of you, please go ahead, buy a few ping pong ball, fill it with your gases, and join to become man of space. But there is another position development with the work with Rennie in a way that now, as with the balls we saw, he has a ball of the three bottles with him, and now he has added a second bottle, exactly like as we've seen with Dr. Guata and what we saw with Douglas. Would you like to tell us what happens now that you added the second bottle, please?
Yes, the first time I tested this setup, even even only the center container only, the field is much stronger. And the moment we connect these two, I mean the center bottles, and adding this, having the setup in relationship also with other similar configuration, we tested that, let's say you have three of this setup as shown on what is drawn on the whiteboard. There is a moment that we were confused at that moment that everything for us, as we notice it, stopped working. Then we said, oh, what happened? The more gravitational, it doesn't add performance to, the more magnetical doesn't add performance to the engine, and so with the others. So we start arranging them in a triangular formation with respect with each other, and rotate them in a manner that they communicate in a way that they give improvement in the environment, that the engine responds very well. And we did. We find a relationship between the three that you will understand really that they are starting connecting with each other. And also, we notice that when you have a gravitational field and a more gravitational device and a more magnetical device, when you have these two, they will connect. That when these two are together and they connect, you get the best of two, and not just one, but you get the best performance ever, because they work hand in hand, but you have to place them in a way that they are facing each other and the best connection they have. So you have to feel it. The only instrument for us to determine that the connect is the combustion engine. It will respond accordingly. That when it receives the energy, it performs well. When it doesn't, it goes back to its original performance. That's how we test it. The one in the middle, the lead guns is in the middle container. The outer container is filled with CH3. That's how we set it up. Then we put a wire in the middle and a wire on the outside, and we connect them to give feedback to the gravitational. This is where you get a much better performance in any maggrav that you have. In this case, we have liquid plasma configured as a maggrav. The magnetical is feeding to the gravitational, and it works very well that way. And if you have this set up, let's say even just lying on the side, eventually the wires will get nano-coated. My wire in the lead guns is already nano-coated because I use a lead guns container that I place on the side for several days. And the wire is fully nano-coated. And all my setups also, with a triangular formation, they are fully nano-coated after starting 4 days. This shows us that indeed plasma flow through the wires from the liquid plasma and through the matter state wire, because at first I was only using stranded wires, not nano-coated, because I just want to connect them, and I know it will get nano-coated because plasma will flow. and we have the best coating ever. It's shiny, deep black, and very strong. Even if I bend the wire, it doesn't crack. So plasma did flow through the wires.
Bernie,
Yes,
the next step for you, you added your amino acid into the center course,
yes,
is by dictating the strength of the magnetical and gravitational as you wish. In a way,
yes,
you reduce the 36 to 25 and you increase the 13 to 25 and you have an interface and solid state. How long
yes.
do you think it'll take you to get to that point?
And the amino acids is really, I just have to rinse them. They are in, I cut some portion of like you proposed that, or you like you suggested that you rub your skin, or I just cut this, this corner of our nail. They have this excess skin. Yeah, I think we can use that. That's what I use, and I put it in to make GANs of it. I put it in caustic solution, and I'm about to add it on the container, the center container.
Then you'll be able to develop a
Yes.
process for controlling with your thoughts.
Yes.
Let me bring you to the others. Yes, carry on.
Okay. Yes. We did experience also by having a gravitational field the first time, having a strong gravitational field device for the first time. You will be surprised. Without any other devices around you, and you build this device. The first experience I have is it was a choking experience that you lost air. Because you don't know what to do. You did not allow it to connect you. That means it is trying to connect, but you did not allow. So you have that feeling. The same thing happened to a friend, but instead of having this choking feeling, he feels very dizzy, like you're about to collapse. That's what he felt. And the moment we decided, because Mr. Kes already told us what to do next, like you allow the connection. When we allow the connection, the field flowing through our body is very strong. It runs through our neck and to the head. And my friend literally felt the formation on the brain, the flow that is on his explanation. The flow is counterclockwise. There are 3 points.
Would you like to explain the setup? You put the system on the table, and each one of you sat on one side of the table as I drew.
Yes. Me at the bottom side of the table and my friend on the right side. And on his right side of the head, front right side, he felt a very strong front right side, Mr. Kes. Front. Yes, in that
I'm
corner.
in the front. I'm a bad drawer. Just take your imagination.
Okay. So on that lower left corner of the head, he have that configuration, but he's facing towards the bottom side of the board. Okay.
Yeah.
We have that flow. Yes, the flow is pulsing and turning counterclockwise on 3 points. Yeah, correct. That one, counterclockwise, connecting all the 3 points. That's what he felt. All the 3 points, and it keeps running. He tried to control it, and he managed to control it, the flow. And because it was the first time for us, so we just enjoyed the moment. The dizziness, the loss of air feeling will be gone the moment you allow the connection. So we have to, this is what Mr. Kes have told me the first time I relayed or I report the feeling of being, the feeling of just like being choked. You have to give all, you have to release, you have to connect. So when we do that, this feeling of being not comfortable with it instantly went away, and we have this rush of energy through our arms, then to our neck. The same experience it runs through the arms and through our neck because we use our hands. We imagine the flow through our hands, our arms. Then it runs through the neck, going up to the head. Then for my friend, this counterclockwise flow on 3 points on the head, and for me, I literally visualize my entire brain, the upper part of the brain pulsing, as if I am watching a movie of the brain with the texture of the surface and every something like half spherical shape on top of the brain, they are pulsing. Very very vivid visualization in my thoughts that way. But at first you have this uncomfortable feeling until you connect. It will be gone. Okay.
Thank you very much. So you see now you can feel the forces. You had a dog in the room. Would you like to tell us about the dog?
Yes. The moment we allow the connection and we felt it rushing through our hands, through our arms, and through our neck, then the dog just ran through the side of my friend, and the dog became very excited that it rubbed its body on the lap of my friend, and we haven't seen that dog doing that way. And I said, oh, maybe this is the part that when Mr. said, the moment you let go, you connect to the gravitational, it flips to a magnetical, and this dog gets attracted to it. You know, this magnetical field, it gives you energy, it gives you excitement. That's what the dog is showing us, and the dog is very happy. And for the dog not to disturb my friend because he is concentrating, I asked the dog, "Come here. I'll just I'll touch you and I'll do that for dinner." Well, I said, "Okay, that's enough. You already have your I already touched you." Then the dog just go on his own. It's very very, you know, the feeling of happiness. You know, the dog you have, if you have a dog, when you arrive at home, the dog will greet you, something like that. But for that dog, it's very unusual at that moment because that dog will only go beside you and greet you in just not a very excited manner. But that moment, the excitement is totally different. It's very. Then I understood maybe the dog also felt the energy that we are feeling. We were feeling at that moment.
Thank you very much, Werner. I explained to you something very interesting, how we say we change the environment. Douglas, are you in the background?
Yes, Mr. Cash.
Would you like to explain to us what's happening in your garden? And you've been in this house for 6-7 years?
Yeah, the whole yard, we have noticed here lately, just recently, within the last month, and we've been here for 6 years, the sudden increase in wildlife activity. We have more squirrels than I can count. I think every bird imaginable that is indigenous to this area visits the yard out where the chickens are. We have 3 baby groundhogs that like to play in the yard, and 2 baby armadillos. We actually caught 2 baby coons that were trapped in the trash this morning, and I've given them shelter until they get a little bit bigger, and then I'll release them out back into the wild. My wife ran out yesterday because she thought there was a stray dog in the yard, and it turned out to be a red fox. So we have had all kinds of animals that have decided to come and visit us here lately, which is absolutely beautiful. To see all these creatures coming, and we can get really close. Like my wife got some great videos of the baby armadillos out in the garden the other day, and they stood up, and she was within 5 feet from them. The baby coons let me pack them and put them in a safe environment. And if I had to guess, I would say they're probably 8 weeks old. They have teeth, so they're not little baby coons, but they're still too little to be off on their own. But they're smaller animals, and we've seen deer that are approaching too, really close to the house. So it's a beautiful thing that we're witnessing here. And this is the first time we've seen anything like this since we've been here in the 6 years we've been here.
Now, this is what we say, you should see about the same. The environment of the plasma changes the environment of living, and this is what gradually we will see in the development. Something which is important is that we spoke about the container with the GANs inside one ball and another GANs outside. But for us to carry a container of water like this in a practical way, to do tests in a condition of the inner core running, it's a little bit what I call difficult. We should be able to produce a system that, in fact, what we can do is we had the first core, we created a second core, but if we create the environment of a third core, then we put the material which is here, and with the interaction of the middle core in the system, in the way we have a 3-layer, the source, a transition section, and we have the matter section or matter energy. If you can create such a condition, then once this pole start rotating, and this pole start rotating, and this pole fixed or rotating, you will see a new dimension in the world of the plasma technology. Now you work like this layer of the skin. You start creating materials and condition of the fields, whatever you like. Is Armin on the line? Armin, are you there? Are you still awake?
Yes.
Good evening, good morning to you, Armin John.
I'm gonna be a long time.
Armin, you are in that position. You're developing this 3-core system. Armin was supposed to be in Arizona today with the manufacturers, but he stayed till we finish this and to go on. Would you like to share a screen with us and show us what you are doing and where we are?
Yeah, but I just finished it up and it's a little bit not dried, but let me show it to you 1 minute.
This is very important, and this more or less puts Armin on a position if he moves one of the reactors at a special speed to create lift and motion, and you will see the first time the shape of the dome of what you call a spaceship, the way Earth creates its own shielding. Are you there?
Yeah, 1 minute.
Are you?
Start my video.
Okay, do you want to go on the camera or do you want to go on the video?
No, camera. 1 minute.
Every time he comes, we hear his heartbeat.
Here.
I think you got a pacemaker, Armin.
No, this is 1 second. And a third.
Could you explain to us what these are, please?
These are 3 balls, one inside each other.
Okay, can you tell us how you fill them up?
Yeah. Like Russian dolls, you know, one ball, one each other. Here it's 3. Okay, the middle, it's all the GANs I have. I have maybe 27 different GANs, and I put my blood in the center. Outside, in the middle core, I put only CH3 and CO2, and outside core, I just put it the mixed GANs, but without the blood. So I load 3 reactors the same, and the 4th reactor I loaded little bit heavier. And I can show you. It's rotate very good, actually. 1 minute. I'm sorry, I just finished it up and it's glued. It's stable. No break. And I can see 3 balls rotating.
The 3 balls are rotating inside.
Yes. No break.
No, you have a very dark central load. Do you see any kind of bubbles in the center?
Yeah.
Do you see the bubble being created right in the middle?
Yes.
Hallelujah.
When you rotate it in a high speed.
But they're all fully full balls. There is no air gap in it.
No. Very little. I try to get the air out, Mr. Kesh. It's impossible. It's always, like it's gathering over there.
Yes, those are the vortex plasma bubbles. You can't help it. So when you rotate it fast, do you see one layer ball, or can you look deep enough to see if you see other layer balls? Empty space.
Oh my God, it's first. Empty hollow. I don't know if you can see.
Yeah, can you show it? Yes. You see the empty hollow in the middle. Yeah? Yes, we see the hollow center. Now, can you bring the other ball near to this, any of the balls near to it, and see if you can create rotation in the other one, please?
Mr. Kesh, I just finished up gluing, so
They're still wet.
yeah, so I don't want to move them.
Okay,
this
no
one
problem.
is glued a long time ago, so I tried it. So
You're going out of balance. Okay, no problem.
this is
Okay.
this is okay.
What will be interesting, Arman, if you can put these balls in the liquid GANs and change the position. That's why you have that long stick, and see if you can start creating rotation the way Douglas was explaining to us.
Yeah,
Do you see any movement in that ball in the liquid?
No, not yet.
This is the only one with CH3. The others are CO2.
No, the all middle is CO2 with CH3.
But this one is a CH3 only.
No, this one is CH3 and CO2. The middle.
All 4 of them are CH3, CO2.
Yeah. No good?
No, you should have made one of them CH3 on his own. It's no problem. But let's see what it comes. It's a balanced field. When you put this in a liquid GANs, then can you tell us what happens afterwards when they dry?
Sure. No problem. I'll try.
You have another set which is sitting in the water.
I took it out.
You decided to dismantle it.
No, I'm not dismantling, but I will fix.
Yeah. Would you like to tell us what that set is?
Sure, no problem.
Can you show it to us dry?
Let me.
This is a very nice one which Arman has made. You will see it. It just needs a little bit of adjustment. He needs to adjust it. Arman is one of the first group which should be able to create their flight system. Would you like to move it more in the center, please? Yeah.
Let me click this one. 1 minute. I don't want to break them.
No problem. Explain to us what we have, please.
We have 3 nanocoated, but the middle coil, it's a magnetical and gravitational, and magnetical and actually the coils, I coiled it differently.
Oh, you called it for creating rotation.
Yes.
Okay, no problem.
So, and I have one coil only copper, not nano-coated, but the connections are the same. And I just connected to the small load LED, if you can see.
Yeah. And what is more to it? There is a piece missing in the middle. Would you like to tell us what it is?
In the middle, it's a core.
In the middle, Arman has a double core with what I call a butterfly. Would you like to explain? If you can't show it, it's locked in.
No, I have the other
You
one.
have it out?
Yeah.
That's a core which sits in the middle.
It sits on the, it's nano-coated, and it has a, if you see, it has a wires, like a wing, the full rotation inside.
Yes. And can you tell us what you have filled this in with?
I have filled this in with all the GANs and with amino acid and a blood, and outside only CH3.
So you can turn it around with a few thousand RPM?
I can turn it around until 13,000 RPM.
And would you let us know what will come out?
Yes, Mr. Kesh, but I have to leave today morning at night. I'm going to drive to Arizona.
Arizona, yeah, no problem. You can take it with the whole team in Arizona and put it together there. They have something to do.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Is there anything you want to add with it to us, Arman, please?
No, I'm little bit tired and I have to drive.
Yes. Thank you very much for being there, Arman. It's very late for you. You've been on for 2-3 days. He's been trying to complete this for today. Thank you very much, Arman. Safe journey to Arizona.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So you'll see in the background, the Keshe Foundation team works to develop, and we teach you the first lines. The rest is up to you to develop it and bring it in public. And we hope you stay that open. On the other hand, when you look at the development of the flow of the GANs and everything else, we taught different ways of different applications of this liquid GANs. And the initiative and innovation of the Austrian development team, Austrian manufacturing, is very interesting. Dr. Klaus, are you with us to show us your new thought control of freeing yourself from everything else?
Yes, of course, Mr. Kesh.
Good morning, Dr. Klaus.
Good morning, Kesh.
What would you like to show us? You developed something new?
Well, what we wanted to find out is the impact of the iodine GANs on our bodies and on our fields and the environment. Because till now we used CO2 GANs, mainly CO2 GANs and zinc oxide GANs for our body and our emotions. And now you came up with iodine GANs, which means for me, for the medical part, kind of third layer, the layer of the soul. And this is what I wanted to experience on my bodies, on my environment. And so I built a kind of glasses, which are made of tubes, the same plastic tubes we used to build the helmets. And I filled these tubes up with CO2, zinc oxide, and iodine GANs. And I just wanted to know what happens and what I did the last days. I just went around with these glasses. I also wore it when I drove my car and when I went for a walk in the woods. And well, the first hours, nothing happened, but then I realized that there is a kind of more intuitive way of a decision, and people also seem to be a bit closer to me.
Was it because you're wearing these funny glasses?
Yes.
They
But
came to have a look.
they didn't. They haven't been closer to me because there are glasses in. It was just a feeling, you know. And what I experienced is a friend called me, and he said he has a kind of pain in his body, and I said, well, let's try something. I put you in my thoughts into our health units, and I additionally tried to wear these glasses. And I just had the feeling. It's until now it's an experiment. I just had the feeling, and he also reported that there was an immediate change, although there was a huge distance between us. So these are my data till now concerning these iodine GANs, which I wanted to experience, and I like to experience on.
Thank you very much. We bring this session to a close on two fronts. First of all, you have seen the development and the application of the energy units, 3 kilowatt free energy. From now, we have broken the code of control of energy to control humanity. You can develop it yourself, as we've done with the Maghreb units, or we, as usual, deliver it through the Keshe Foundation manufacturing arms. On the other hand, the most important part is now that we've seen the development and transfer of energy through dynamic GANs plasma and the fields, the way one plasma, not even moving, can rotate another body of the liquid or matter state, the way it happens in the universe. For the first time in man's life, in humanity, we see the real true operation of the work of the universe. And this is part of the spaceship technology development. This is part of understanding where we are about to go without dependence on the material. We go a step further in coming days. If you develop, I know a lot of you will do this testing and developing these things, send us a link or post it on any of the Keshe Foundation groups and support groups and anywhere else that you share the knowledge. The control of governments, multinationals, more or less is coming to an end. All the effort to enslave man is unenslaved. You have all the knowledge to do it, all the technology to do it. The reason we do share knowledge this way is that no one can control. People across this planet share knowledge. You've seen how the pads and the pens and the Maghreb systems work. Now you see the generators. You produce it yourself. Let us finish it into the point that we can share the blueprint with it. As usual, we share it with you, and the manufacturing side will develop it. I explained before, and I always give you a pre-warning a few times before, the Keshe Foundation in the coming time will put the spaceship reactors for sale around 20,000 euro, which means you can order a unit which you can fit to your car and use it to lift and everything else. This is a warning to the governments. People will start traveling borders without you ever knowing. And this is important, as I know a number of governments are in the background listening, that the situation with the borders and everything else has to be resolved very rapidly because the people of the Keshe Foundation supporters, which runs into millions across the world, will start developing it. And in a very simple way, if I can go to one of the banners of the Keshe Foundation, in a very few weeks' time, you will see a number of these flying around. You will create it, not us. We've seen people in research center in Philippines explaining to you the fields. This is a reality for the human race in the coming time. Fields beyond, and you understand how you control it. Your CO2 systems, the star formation at the bottom, your top reactor, you create your own domain. This is the change we will see in a matter of weeks. We are not talking about years and months. We saw the presentation with very much what was shown by Talgota in Kenya. All he had was literally shown you was by putting a reactor at this point. If we can manage to fix these three the same, your structure is inevitable. We've seen Philippine Research Center telling us they can feel, they can measure the field strength, and I explained how you feel the boundary, the physical balance between gravitational and magnetical of the three systems you put together. What to you was a dream to make a spaceship, it cost you less than a few dollars to put it together, test it, develop it, have a confidence in you have the knowledge. It's not somebody have to do it for you. You develop thousands of MAGRAV units. Millions of you developed. You're teaching. We hear in the workshops, in one workshop in Spain last weekend, 20-odd people making their own MAGRAV every week in Germany, in other part of the world, Holland. They're all coming with their workshop teachings. We have appointed Mr. Fahad Amani to do the workshop development. You will be developing these things. And with this, we enforce what is the principal work of the Keshe Foundation, peace through technology. There will be no borders because you can land any way you like, create as much energy as you like, and at the same time, deliver your message of peace through delivery of technology. We said we will deliver. Now we're in the verge of, we finished with the energy production. You have your generators. You've been waiting for nearly 5, 6, 7 years because we were blocked by a bunch of gangsters in one nation. And now man is free. We got ourselves free of the gangsters. Now we work together. Now we see they're still peddling to discredit, but the discreditation has come to them. When there is one promise I made to Fabio's family, when they are brought to Italy to go into prison for long term, we will be there. I think they deserve it. In killing a man by intention as a murder, now that the criminal investigation has started, we will bring them here and we show how they pushed by murdering one child to stop this development to stop. But in fact, by doing it, we speeded it up. And in a way, you failed. The only thing is that for us to unite, to deliver the technology as fast as possible, and in a way, put these people in the places they deserve, that they never see another man to harm. We've seen it, they are proud in doing it, and in the recent past days, we've seen even the insult, the man who's got a daughter in a hospital. This is how low they are getting, and it shows how criminal they are. In a coming time, websites with all documentation showing that criminality is done, because now we only finish with the energy, we finish with the criminals too. And we have to learn one thing. To have peace on this planet, we have to have abundance of everything, that no man fights for anything. In a coming time, now that we reach this point, I will teach you myself in a very, very short time to produce physically on the table tons, kilos of gold on the table. That's the only way we'll break the circle of the viciousness of those who see finance as means of control. You will produce gold, you make pavements and God knows bricks of it, and you build houses with it that no one will come and steal and kill millions to rob a central bank. With it, we bring the balance in the emotion through the guns of the zinc that no man will ever fight. This is what our ethos, this is what we came here for, and we have, as I said, we delivered the medical systems. Now, with Dr. Klaus understanding, even the coils are out of date. You can create bowls of different gases for different diseases. We see the energy being wiped out. We see the beginning of the transfer of the energy in a bowl with creating physical motion. You do it yourself because then you understand how correct you are, how correct the technology is, and we come to one point. We meet by Thursday morning again. If you developed anything further, we teach more. We share it. And in that process, we all understand more to change the course of humanity. Those of you who are men of peace, I have given you the tool of peace. The rest is totally dependent on you. I hope, it's my sincere hope, that we will see the first spaceship in Ghana in the opening of the conference. It depends on you how you will arrive. If any of you develop, I put all my energy in the summer holidays, which starts more or less this week, for next 6-8 weeks, totally on one target to create the first spaceship. I come in, doesn't matter where we are, we explain, watch for the teachings, come and learn, come and teach us, bring us all aspects of the plasma technology. We have moved away from matter state. We are in total plasma condition. You have seen the team of the Keshe Foundation been working relentlessly for hours without a sleep in past few days to bring the beginning of the change. And now we have brought you the change. Go down the shop, buy yourself a few ping pong balls, and start playing the game of gods. This way, we bring peace, and the knowledge is yours. We share it freely. Thank you very much for today. If there's any question, you can ask. Otherwise, we close the session till Thursday.
Mr. Keshe, I do have that video from Douglas from earlier with the rotating balls. Do you want to show that or save it for Thursday?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Go ahead. Is that TNT? Giving a toy to a child.
Okay, here we go.
Hey guys, Douglas here. I'm going to try to get this. As you can see, I'm going to do this really fast. The balls are not moving right now. Composite GANs, plasma water. This is my core right here that I'm using. It's a temporary core. It's driven by a little motor. And what I will do is hold this above the balls, and you will see the reaction, and you will see a definite spin start to occur. Sorry for the noise. My battery is just almost dead. I've been doing this so many times today. You can see the balls are moving around very slowly. The water is starting to create a vortex. It's gaining momentum. Like I said, my battery's about wore down. This thing needs to spin a lot faster. When the battery's fully charged, this doesn't take near as long.
Your microphone. What is interesting, what you see, is that the rotation is clockwise on the machine and the balls start rotating anti-clockwise, and the system is not touching the water. This is important because this I'll explain to you in the coming time how it happens, because it's the plasma inside the ball which is rotating clockwise. But for the ball, the GANs inside to match, it has to go the other way.
Okay, it gives you a quick example, and you can see the balls spinning. I'm sorry, I wish my battery was charged up a little bit more, but you can definitely see the rotation, and you can see how the balls have separated themselves into a star formation. Now it'll slow down and here in just a second because it no longer has the field working, but this is just a quick example to show you the spin of the balls with inside the liquid.
This is you'll see, you can do these at a very little cost yourself, but you can make the 3-layer like the way Armand did, that you create 2 layers floating inside each other and fix them to a point few centimeters from the base that the field flow is equal and dynamic. And then if you can fix your top core, the speed of rotation, you will see the whole bucket moving. You will see the first signs of lift. The first time when Douglas did it, the whole thing popped out. All the water created a field that it created a lift without even touching it. The field forces move the mass. So try to do it, send us the video, put your video, not if you don't want to, put it anywhere on the internet. Teach the others freely. You have a free transportation at 0 cost, and if you learn gradually, some of you will dictate where and how and when you want to fly, where you want to go. And in a way, this way, as I said, we made man free. There are no borders. Nobody can tell you where to sit and where to land and who to help and not to help. The Chinese military have made me an offer. You're welcome without visa if you can come in with your spaceship. We'll be there very soon. My response to President Xi is very simple. I'll be there sooner than you can think. Thank you very much, Your Excellency. Professor Xu, would you like to add anything to this invitation, or does it still stand? If he's in the background. You don't see him. Let me explain. This afternoon, we have a special teaching for the Chinese community on a special line set up for them. If you are of the Chinese community, get in touch with the Keshe Foundation China and join us. This teaching is only for the Chinese community in respect to the development of the centers in China. Thank you very much. Are there any questions or do we close?
I think Dr. Zhu is here now. I just promoted him to a panelist here if he wants to speak. Are you there,
Zhu?
Dr. Zhu?
Would you like to say anything?
I'll try to unmute him. I don't know if it'll come through okay.
Can you hear us? He's not unmuted.
It's not unmuting, so I'm not sure what's going on at the other end. There's some other issue.
Okay, no problem. We'll have Professor Zhu in the afternoon.
Oh, now we have him. Hello?
Sorry. Hello?
Yes, Professor Shu, is there anything you want from the Chinese community with us?
Yes, sorry. I have to help my wife with babysitting.
Can you speak a bit louder, please? You're too far from the microphone.
Okay. So, sorry, I was at the babysitting to help my wife right now. But I just listened to your talk about your visit to China.
We can't hear you clearly.
Okay. Just
Hello? Hello?
We may have lost him there. Just let
It's
me
okay.
see what happened.
Are there any questions that we can answer, one or two or none, and then we can go?
Rick, would you like me to show you the bucket and the magraphs, or do you have time for that?
Yes, Ali had a bucket and some sort of configuration that he wanted to show.
Please share, Ali.
Okay. So I'm starting my video, and let me zoom out a bit. So this is the, I've been experimenting. This is the bucket, and it has a combination of all my Kansas, and in the middle, this is the magraph unit, which I was planning to use a motor to rotate that, basically put a motor in the middle to rotate that configuration, the infinity loop. And instead, I've been using these balls. There's 3 of them here, which I put in, and there's a combination of few of them on top. I do see some bubbles coming from the bottom, and there's a very, very small counter rotation, counterclockwise rotation of water that I see. For some reason, this ball, which is here, gravitates to the magraph core, so it just, wherever I put it, it just comes and then moves right close to the core. So that's my observation so far, and I'll be keep working on it. And if you have any comments or question, I'll be
How
glad.
is your magraph unit connected?
It's right now it is by itself. It's kind of like a serial, so that it's like a standard magraph unit that we had before. The wires are the same, but they're not connected at the moment to anything. They're
Are you flowing any energy in the magraph systems?
no, there's no energy, nothing. They're just by themselves.
You do and tell us how the balls will behave. It's a beautiful system you made. It's very original. But what happens if you create a flow in the coils?
If I run a current, you mean, or a plasma current?
Yeah, plasma or a very low plasmatic current through it, or a normal voltage. If it's isolated, you can put through it with the battery.
I have to test that. I haven't tested it yet, but I'll definitely test that.
Can I see your tray? You got all those balls in it. Are they on their own? Or are they in the liquid?
No, each one have a different kind of a GaNs in it. So some of them are CH3, some of them are CO2, some of them are copper, iron. In the middle, I have a bit of a bismuth. This is a bismuth one. So just a piece of bismuth, and the water, there's the bubbles coming underneath from the bottom. If you go really close, you might.
Can you put some water in this container too, that they are free to move?
Okay. Yeah, I can definitely do that.
With the GaNs, with some little amount of GaNs at the bottom of it, with liquid to somewhere they can float.
Okay.
This is what you've done, Ali.
Thank you.
It's very nice. Don't forget, Ali is the head of the spaceship program of the Keshe Foundation. So he's hoping to be the first man in the space.
Thank you, Mr. Kish.
Thank you very much, Ali.
Okay.
Thank you indeed.
Okay. Have a good day. Bye bye.
Thank you very much. Bye-bye. Anything else or any other question?
Yes, Mr. Cash, we have a question in the chat from Monique who says, could we mix two people like T's and mine? T, she means Thorbjorn, T's and mine, so we can be together in the ability of maneuvering the ship.
I don't understand. Can somebody explain?
Maybe Monique should explain. I believe she wants to mix the amino acids of two people so they can be together to direct and maneuver the ship.
Yes, that's possible. I explained this in one of the private teachings.
You mentioned one time that it's
You
often a
can't
group of 4 people that move through space. Is that part of that? Would they all have their amino acids mixing to do that?
Yes,
Or
you can do. There is no problem. But very easily, you come to a very quick understanding. When you do this, because you create it through the soul of the man, you'll find out the one who wants the best for the crew or for the craft will always dominate. The ones who plan to do whatever, they can never take control because they lose more energy than they receive. So you find out, yes, you can put 10 people in and they all can try to control. But through the operation of now you understand the operation of the soul in the physicality, you'll find the one who's the true server and wants the best for the passengers, we'll call it, will serve, will dominate, will dictate the position. Very interesting, you will see. It'll be very hard to steal cars which have a maglev system in this plasmatic because the thief has a different intention than what's in the engine. It'll be very, very interesting. Any other question, or shall we call it a day?
Hello, Mr. Cash. This is Paul from Togo.
Hi, Paul. How are you?
Fine. And you?
Not bad. Are you going to show us something?
Yeah, I have make guns of silver. So I want to show the picture and the procedure.
What is the presentation? Is it how to make a Ganser, or has it to do with the space technology?
Silver. How? Yeah, how to make the guns of silver.
Please, would you share this with us on Thursday?
Okay, no problem.
Thank
I
you very
will do
much.
this.
Send the PDF file to Rick, then we have it, and then on Thursday it's easy to play. Thank you very much, Paul. Thank you indeed. Any other questions?
Thank you.
Thank you indeed. We call it a day. Thank you very much for being with us. And on Thursday, we carry on. If we receive any new knowledge or new development by any of you, you know what you got to do. We come on live and we teach. So we meet on Thursday morning at normal 9 o'clock. And then we go in the deeper development teaching that you can use and everything else. I've been sent a number of questions regarding the hand, the finger, and what it means. On Thursday, I explained the position of the body in respect to its physicality. Then you understand more and how it means and what it means. And some people want to know more exactly how you do the communication in a physical condition or in the soul term. We teach you more and more as we go along. Thank you very much indeed.
okay, thank you, Mr. Kesh. And that draws to a close the 123rd Knowledge Seekers Workshop of the Keshe Foundation Spaceship Institute for Tuesday, July 26, 2016. And as always and forever, thank you everybody for attending and participating. Okay, we'll end the live stream.